Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be looking at how to build relationships by engaging people with social media. So as I've said repeatedly throughout these videos, the key to any effective social media marketing strategy is building relationships with people. And the key to building relationships is something called engaging those people. Okay, so in this video, we're going to take a little more in-depth look at what I mean by that and give you some ideas for how you can do that, all right? So here I've got a bullet point list of how to engage with social media. So the first point here is to listen to what people are saying. All right, pretty simple, right? So let me go to this Twitter timeline here. This is the timeline for the tavern that I manage. All right, and the timelines on MySpace, Facebook, and Twitter work roughly the same. You'll have just a central conversation, and this is called your timeline. So to listen to what people are saying is pretty simple. You simply go through and just look at what are people that you're following, what are they talking about, is there anything that you're interested in, that you're knowledgeable about. Now this could take I follow a lot of people, so we're not going to go through all of this, but if somebody's asking a question that you've answered to, answer it. If there's just something that you notice that's interesting that people are talking about, try to become a part of that conversation without constantly mentioning your brand. All right, so the other thing is have conversations. Like I was saying, basically it is what it sounds like. That means you just simply talk to people without talking about your brand constantly. So that means asking questions, allowing people to ask you questions. So basically just having conversations. A friend of mine has a pretty good rule for this. It's called, with social media, he suggests using what are called party rules, right? Now, I'm assuming you've been to a party before, and when you go to a party, it's not exactly appropriate to go up to people and say, "Hey, have you seen my new store? Hey, have you heard about my products and services?" I mean, you'd be the biggest a-hole at the party if you were doing that. Okay, so that rule essentially spills over to social media. You want to be part of the conversation, and that leads us to our next point of don't simply shout out broadcasts. So I'll give you an example of what I mean here. All right. Okay, so this is an example of what not to do. All right, this is a local business, chicken restaurant in the Dayton area, and this is hardly the worst that I've seen. It just happened to be one that I saw today, so I thought I would point it out. They're not doing a totally terrible job, but they could be doing a lot better. And one of the things I think that they're doing wrong is they're focusing on broadcasting too many advertising kind of messages. So if you simply go through their timeline, you'll see that most of what it consists of is them advertising some kind of special or deal or something about what's going on with them. And again, this isn't the worst job that I've seen. I mean, they are replying to people. I mean, here they're talking to somebody, that's good. They're engaging people in conversation, that's good. This is a Follow Friday thing, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute. I'll get to that in a second, and that's good. That's something you should be doing as well. But if you go through their timeline, you'll see again that most of what they're talking about is simply talking about themselves. And that's essentially broadcasting, and you really want to try to keep the broadcasting to a minimum. At the same time, you still want people to come visit your business, so you're still going to want to broadcast specials, events, those kind of things, and you absolutely should be doing that. But the idea is you want to overwhelm people with good content and questions and those kinds of things. Probably I would say, the formula is probably, say, 85% of what you say in your timeline and how you engage people should be about other people, and the other 15% should be about your business. So the other part of engaging people with social media is asking questions and polls. And if you recall from the second video, one of the benefits of social media is that people want you to ask them questions, and that gives you the ability to gather vitally needed market research and feedback. Now, if there's really nothing you're interested in knowing, no kind of feedback that you really particularly like, still come up with questions to ask people, because that is part of the engagement process, and you'll be surprised at how many people actually answer your questions you're putting out, and how many people reply to the polls. And if you also don't remember, one way you can create free polls is to use something called polldaddy.com, which is totally free and very easy to use. Okay, so the next point is being interested is more interesting. What that means is just you being interested in what's going on in the lives of your customers and potential customers is interesting. I mean, that is interesting. That is your form of advertising, right? the fact that you're taking an interest in what people are doing and saying and thinking and feeling and that kind of thing. And being interested is more interesting. That's how to be interesting and to get attention, is be interested in what other people are doing. The next point is listen and show you are aware of what others say. So again, this kind of ties in with the don't simply shout out broadcast, but just basically make people aware that you're not some program that's trained to release some ad on your timeline every 2 hours. Just show that you're aware of what others are saying and doing. The next thing is use contest when and wherever possible. Now, this is a really cool thing that social media allows you to do. To give you an example of a contest, one really good one was run by a site called moonfruit.com. And what they did was every time somebody used a hashtag, and I remember from the last video, the hashtag, so there's words on Twitter with the pound sign in front of them, for about a 2 or 3 week period, every time somebody tweeted a message with the hashtag moonfruit, they were registered in a contest to win a laptop. And they gave away, I think it was something like 30 or 40 Dell laptops. And that was essentially how Moonfruit, which is a free website design and hosting thing that then tries to upsell you into all these paid packages, that was how they launched their service. And it was incredibly, incredibly effective. Now, for local businesses, you probably can't afford to do something like that, but you can still utilize that same kind of strategy. You could do something as simple as tell people that everybody that retweets a message or reposts it on Facebook or MySpace gets a $25 gift card, and maybe you'll give away a couple of those.